Good evening, everybody. Quick notice before we start today's video. If you watched episode 100 of the Celtic the Thunder podcast, you'll be familiar with this already. You'll also be familiar if you keep up with us on Twitter. However, if you don't know, as we mentioned on episode 100 of the podcast, we will be giving away £200 to a charity of our choice this Christmas time. We've decided to go with the Children's Hospices Across Scotland charity, CHAS. And we've set up a Just Giving if anyone would like to add to the fund. There's no pressure at all for anyone to donate. Of course, at this time of year, it's understandable that money isn't easy to throw away or whatnot. However, we would ask a donation even as small as £1 to this great cause would be so much appreciated. Chaz do vital work for families across Scotland with children on end-of-life support. And they are so underfunded and only able to help 1 in 3 families who desperately need their help. There is more information about the charity and such in the link below, but the link below will take you to the Just Giving, where we have already raised well over our target. We were hoping to raise £500. We've cleared 500 already, but if we could raise any amount of money more than that, it would be greatly appreciated. So please make sure to go into the description below, check out the Just Giving link, and if you can help out, that would be great. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. And very rare that I say this, but applause and congratulations goes out to Mikey Johnston, who finally bagged some very important goals for Celtic, who arguably came on and changed the game for the better this afternoon, and ultimately has helped Celtic on the way to a 3-0 win at Dens Park against Dundee. Mikey Johnston scoring. It's already a special match reaction. Hello, welcome back. I hope you all had a very Merry Christmas. I hope you enjoyed your day of celebration, whatever you were doing. And it's nice to have you back in the channel. It's nice to be talking about Celtic once more. If you haven't already, please make sure to hit like and subscribe. If you're feeling festive, if you're feeling happy after Celtic's 3-0 win, just drop down below. It's absolutely free and would be much appreciated as we try and head towards 50,000 subscribers. Dundee 0, Celtic 3, a massive result for Celtic, a very important 3 points ahead of that derby game now on Saturday, which we suddenly turn our attention to after tonight. But ultimately we had to win tonight. We had to put out a good performance, and listen, it was a bit of a slug at times to watch. It was a little bit, harsh on the eyes. It wasn't the prettiest game of football you're ever going to see, but I'm not going to sit here and lie. I think that Celtic were utterly dominant in the game. I think that if we were flowing of confidence and form, we could have easily won 7, 8, 9, 10-0 this afternoon. But obviously for a team who have been struggling to find goals recently, and for a team who are kind of finding their footing again, it was all about trying to take whatever chances we could get. If you look at the stats from today's game, let's just talk about this very quickly. 74% possession, first of all. It felt like Dundee never touched the ball in today's game. 38 shots. 38 shots. 7 only on target though, and you can talk about that maybe being concerning, you can talk about that being disheartening or whatnot. At the end of the day, Celtic were all over Dundee today, and I think that it was a good enough performance from start to finish to get the job done. Yeah, there is elements of the game that I think have their own concerns, and we'll talk about them. But it was never in doubt that we were going to win today. I know you go into once again half-time, 0-0, thinking, oh God, this is going to be tough, but we're playing a Dundee who were very resolute today. They were ugly in so many ways. Ugly to watch, ugly to play against, the way that they were wrestling Celtic players at any given set piece, the way that every corner kick came around and Cameron Carter-Vickers was being held by his shirt and his neck. The way that they were camping 9 men behind the ball whenever we got near the final third. They were a hard team to break down and get past today, and I know that the shots to shots on target ratio doesn't look the prettiest, and we have to do better than that. They were blocking everything that came to them, and they were making it hard, putting us into the most awful areas in the park. So they deserve an element of, credit, I suppose, for managing to do that. But I was never, going at half time, I have been fearful the last few weeks when you get these games, it's 0-0, and you think to yourself, the longer this goes on, the worse it was, or the worse it is. But today, I went at half time thinking to myself, we'll get the job done today. And maybe I was just a little bit more reassured than others. Maybe I had a little bit more confidence in the team than what you might have this afternoon. But I just didn't see any way in which Celtic didn't break that deadlock. We needed that one goal We finally got that one goal. We had to then be patient for the second goal. But there was shades of Livingston in there today, wasn't there? In the sense that first half we did have, chance after chance. And we did have I think in the first half, we were more consistent in what we were doing than what we were against Livingston. Because against Livingston, it was, 20, 25 minutes of playing well, and then the following 20 minutes, we were hopeless, and Livingston started getting out of the game a little bit. I feel like in the first half in this game, for as much as our chances might not have been convincing, or as convincing as some in the Livingston game, we were all over them, and Dundee never had a sniff. So going into half-time, I just had a little bit more faith. I was thinking of that Livingston game and how we were patient enough to get the job done early in the second half. There was shades of that in today's performance. But yeah, ultimately, it's 3 points. And we're going to try and talk about the game bit by bit. But I don't care how we get it done. We just needed a win. We had to avoid dropping points before that derby. And listen, I think that we now go into this game on Saturday still isn't ideal for Celtic. We're not best placed for a derby right now. You could argue that Rangers are the favourites. You could, if you want to. I still think Celtic should be looked at as the favourites. It's at Parkhead. We are the best team in the country and we should be beating Rangers. But I think now we head into this game with a little more confidence in what we would have maybe this point last week. And it's good that we've got back-to-back wins heading into it rather than back-to-back losses. So that's good. First half was just such a tough watch at times, and I don't think that necessarily means that Celtic were poor or anything like that. It was just really difficult. Dundee went out the exact way you'd expect them to go out, to set up in that manner to try and frustrate Celtic. They've obviously been doing their homework and taking their notes. They've seen what's been holding Celtic up recently, and that has been, this ticking time bomb of self-implosion in our defeats, Kilmarnock, Hearts. They know that the longer they can drag it on, the better it will be for them and how it will suit them. So you can see that they were trying to do that through the first half. But we had chances that we should have been scoring. Listen, we can't not talk about the first half and not talk about Kyogo's miss. It's a shocker of a miss. He needs to be scoring those opportunities. He has to be planting them. I admire the confidence in his game to go and try and take it round the keeper and lift it over him. Just put your laces through it. You're a guy that's low in confidence. You should be just putting your laces through it and hoping it bursts the net rather than going for maybe the prettier looking goal. And at this point, we do need to ask ourselves, what's up with Kyogo? Why is he like this? Look, I seen a tweet about somebody saying about shots not hitting the target and they're blaming Rodgers for it. And I'm like, Rodgers can't help it if they're not hitting the target. This isn't me just blindly defending Rodgers, but Kyogo has been poor, and there's no denying that. And I think there'll probably be an element in there where the way the manager's been playing him does affect his game and affect how good he is. And we'll come on to that in a second because there is a point I want to make about the first half. But Kyogo just hasn't been good enough recently. He's a fantastic player, and I'm not saying that he's done or anything like that. Don't be so foolish to think I'm suggesting anything along those lines. But he hasn't been good enough recently, and that's the mark of a guy low in confidence. He got a cracker of a goal against Livingston at the weekend, and he should be following it up with busting the net there against Dundee this afternoon. He doesn't. He puts it wide, and he just doesn't look as involved as what he should be, Kyogo, at the minute. And I think he is just really struggling. Personally, I don't think it's got anything to do with the manager at this point. He just doesn't look the same player. He doesn't look as convincing when he's getting opportunities. And that needs to be sorted out big time. And whether that is, Brendan Rodgers having to alter the way that he's playing him or the way that we bring him into the game, then we have to address that because we can't go on longer with Kyogo not firing in all cylinders. He is one of the most important players at the side. He's one of the main reasons we've been scoring goal after goal after goal in recent years. We need him back to his best. And today that finish just highlighted for me how you're missing a guy's confidence at the minute. And he needs to get that back into his game. But on that note, we are doing things that hinder Kyogo's involvement in scoring. I think that you could see time after time in the first half when we were getting the ball into wide areas and we were getting it into the box. It wasn't, drill it low and hard. And that's what's been working for us for the past few years. And Kyogo isn't able to get on the end of the crosses at the minute because we seem to be floating them or they keep going past them. They're just not as effective. And I think that there is a kind of element of Celtic kind of hoping and praying on these crosses rather than being precise and rather than being calculated. It's a little bit of potluck rather than skill and ability. So, I think that Palma, who created the most chances on the park today, I don't think he was bad by any stretch of the imagination, but I think that Palma and Maida need to bring that into their game a bit more, and that needs to be instructed. Drill it low and hard if we need to. Not every cross needs to go floating or has to go over Kyogo's head, because he's a guy that needs the ball at his feet. He's a wee guy, you know, both height-wise and physicality. He's not a brute of a striker. He's not going to be winning headers left, right and centre. So, you know, that there's maybe something that we can do to alter that a little bit. And I just thought that in that first half, we maybe weren't catering to our striker the way that we should be. But he needs to do better as well, because he can't be missing those chances like that one he did in the first half. He just simply can't be. But for me, I really honestly did think that I've seen enough of the team in the first half to suggest that we go out and win the game in the second. And that's exactly what we did. Bernardo was so deserving of a goal today. I thought he was brilliant. I really liked Bernardo today. I don't think he was like, you know, I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, he was the best thing for sliced bread and he deserves man of the match and yada yada. I just thought he had a really tidy game, really solid game. I thought he gave us quite a bit in those areas where Dundee were making it a bit difficult for us and making it tight. He got his goal that he was deserving, I thought. And it's a good finish. I mean, yeah, it's not the prettiest goal you'll ever see, but he has to do the work. He has to extend himself and get that goal. And he does exactly that. And for me, that was what just Celtic needed at that point. We never looked back from there. We could have had far, far more. I mean, look at the amount of corners we had in that game. What was the fact? 23 corners. We need to start being more effective from them. You can't have 23 corners. Pardon me. You can't have 23 corners in a game and not threaten from at all. I think Scales came close in one of them. There was a couple of floaters that maybe in another day would have... But realistically, one genuine opportunity from a corner kick out of 23. That's not good enough. That needs sorted. And that's needs sorted for years at the club. That's not a new problem. That's something that's transcended coaches and everything. That needs sorted though. You can't have 23 and not put them to use. And I know that we're not the tallest team in the world. It's not like, you know, you watch Rangers and they've got guys like Goldson who are, 6'4", 6'5". Our centre-halves, you know, Vickers is only 6 foot tall. So we don't have that same height advantage that maybe other sides do, and you especially look round the league at the teams like Livingston who have really tall players, and no wonder they're scoring from corners. But we have just been hopeless at them, and even our short corners are useless. So we need to, I don't know, go out and hire a set piece coach or something, because they've not been good enough. And having so many today and doing nothing with it was just painful. So we had to be patient. And we got there in the end. Mikey Johnston coming on and changing the game. I don't want to say changing the game, because once again, we weren't bad today. We weren't at all. And some people might think we were hopeless or whatnot. I don't think we were. I don't think he changed the game, but he certainly came on and secured all 3 points, and he deserves his credit for that. I think even Johnson himself knows that the first one's a bit fortunate. The goalkeeper makes an absolute meal of it. It's a howler from him, but credit to Johnson for taking the shot on. And it's the same with the second as well. He could have had a hat-trick. He was unlucky not to find a third, in all honesty. But credit to him for coming on. He's definitely a player for me who's better coming off the bench. I don't think he offers an awful lot when he's starting the game. But coming off the bench, you know, a wee injection of pace, a wee injection of the quality that he does have to offer. I wouldn't say that it's a performance that changes my opinions on him. I still think that somebody Celtic should be looking to offload. I wouldn't suddenly be starting them on Saturday either. But it's obviously handy having a player who can come off the bench and do that in games where you maybe need that bit of security, because you don't want to see Dundee going up and win the game, get points in the game, score a goal. So Johnson's done a big job there in helping to secure all 3 points, and he does deserve his credit for it. I won't take it away from him. So yeah, you know what? It was fine for me from start to finish. I think we were good enough today, and hopefully it's something that we can carry into Saturday. However, one thing we do need to carry into Saturday is a bit of worry and a bit of concern. That's sadly about Cameron Carter-Vickers. I said it on my Christmas Day live stream last night. I said it. If you were one of the 200 odd people watching it, you'll remember me saying it. What did I say? There's one player I wouldn't start against Dundee. Who did I say? Cameron Carter-Vickers. A couple of people in the chat, a couple of people in the comments afterwards dubbed me a maniac for even suggesting it. Now do you see why? Now do you understand why I suggested resting Cameron Carter-Vickers? I'm not one to say, I told you so. I'm not saying that I'm a psychic and I've seen this happening. But I did see it happening. I just had a horrible feeling with the way that he's had to nurse these injuries all season and the amount of football we've been playing recently. I wanted to see Cameron Carter-Vickers just get one rest ahead of Saturday. I don't think there was a need for him to play today. I don't think we would have been any worse off with Stephen Welsh playing at centre-half. I don't care. I mean, you can't say that. Hindsight's a wonderful thing, right? No, genuinely, if Welsh started today, I think we should have been fine. I think Welsh was good, actually, when he came off the bench and played this afternoon. we should have rested Vickers. I understand why we didn't, and I understand why he's so important and why he needs to play, obviously, but I just knew it was going to happen. I just had this horrible sinking feeling that he was going to go down with an injury, and he did. He's went off the park. We obviously await at time of recording, Brendan Rodgers hasn't spoke about it yet. By the time this is up, maybe he will have, and maybe you'll know. I'm hoping it's precautionary. I'm praying that he's fine for Saturday. However, I'm not going to get my hopes up. I just wish he wasn't on the park today. Right, that does it for this evening then. There's my match reaction. It's a good win for Celtic. We now have the derby. It's going to be interesting, boys. It's going to be interesting. So we'll wait and see how that one goes. But if you've enjoyed the video, please make sure to hit like and subscribe. It'd be much appreciated. Let me know all your thoughts on the game down below. And enjoy the rest of the festive season, whatever you're doing today, Boxing Day. I hope that Celtic have helped you, go into the evening with a good mood. So enjoy yourselves, God bless, and I'll see you all next time.